Since we're such hip people and we stay up to date with all the trends and we know what's going on, not only just in the research world, but the memes and everything else, I think it only makes sense that we talk about the most important topic going on around right now. Jake, I may ask you, who's winning? One gorilla or 100 men?
I had no idea where that was going.
Yeah, 5-second answer. Ready? Go.
It depends on who the men are, right? Like this is a very
of course.
key piece of information. Is it 100 like shafts, or is it like knees? Because those are two very different answers.
True. I think so long as you and I attack the gorilla, we can win because we can face anything because we have the power of anime on our side, and that's all. That's all.
That's true.
We
need
all we need.
You gotta go find that like 3D maneuver gear.
Yeah. Oh, it's over. It's so over if that happens. But hey, we can save that for a full-on, 2 or 3 hour podcast to come later on. But I think the more important thing that people want to hear about, no one wants to hear about the gorillas and the men that are winning. They want to hear about how our updates pre and post prep are going. I don't know about you, tons of messages. Everyone's like, please bring out the episode. I want to know what Jake's been up to after his thing. He's been doing cool research. Also, on top of that, like, I need to know how's his bodybuilding stuff going. So I think that's a good place to start. Like, Jake, what have you been up to after comp? It's been some time now, right?
It's been some time. It's so funny you say that because all the messages I get are about you. No one cares about me. They just want to know.
Wow. What are they saying? Like, we're concerned for Colby. Please look out for.
Is he okay?
Is he? Yeah. Please tell him to clean up his room.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was the end of November, so that's been like 5 months now. I think I'm on week 20. I have it written down actually. I'm on currently. Almost as of recording this, I'm almost done with week 22.
Yeah.
Post show. I think that's right. So it's been a minute. It's weird that it's been that long. Time is flying so fast. It's crazy and scary, and I don't like it. And I'm just constantly in fear of death because of how fast time goes. That's okay. That's not what we're here to talk about. So to me, there's a couple main things, right? With coming out of prep, you have that immediate phase where you're just like, what is life? And you're trying to kind of readjust. And eventually you kind of settle in, and it's funny how the process has gone for me, and I'll be really curious if it's the same for you. When you get there, is like there's been multiple times where I'm like, okay, I'm fully normal, and then it's a couple more weeks, and I'm like, okay, now I'm fully normal. A couple more weeks. Oh, okay, now and because you just
alert, I'm just never normal to begin with, so we'll never know. So sorry, but yeah, go ahead.
But it's like you just keep forgetting, right? You forget what it feels like to consistently have plenty of food and plenty of energy and all this kind of stuff. And I've been kind of thinking about this the last few weeks anyway, and it's weird and kind of difficult to tease it apart because it's the post prep period. Weird to say. Has been like it's coincided with the end of the semester, so like as there's been stress from that wasn't related to prep, and then it's like, well, what's causing what or whatever. But now here I sit, and I'm like, okay, now I feel fully normal. I feel pretty confident that I've felt fully normal for a while, so I'm like, okay, we're good. And especially with the semester now being over as we're recording this, and that stress is gone. I'm like, now is the time. Like now is when I feel like I can lean into being an off-season bodybuilder, which is unfortunate because these last 5 months is when I wanted to be leaning into being a fully off-season bodybuilder. But what are you gonna do? So I guess yes.
Actually, improvement season. We don't use off season because there is no off season. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
Never off. I've been off a lot, so this has been off season. So I'll start there, I guess. Like training wise, at least, it's been, to be completely transparent, pretty not amazing. It's been, my consistency hasn't been bad, but there's just been a lot of days where it's like, okay, well, that was better than nothing. I've been saying that a lot, and get in and you wind up skipping a couple sets here and there. Or there's been sessions I've skipped entirely here and there, or you get in and you do it, but like the intensity is just not there, and your spirit's just not in it, right? Like you're just kind of going through it. And, you know, it's unfortunate that that sort of coincided with also regaining weight after prep. So you know, that doesn't feel amazing, right? Like, oh, I'm gaining weight, but I'm not really training that hard. Probably isn't the ideal kind of weight to be gaining. But it is what it is, you know? Like, I think it's one of those things that, like, I could be really frustrated and upset about it. And I think I've had that a little bit. I was actually talking with my coach, and I had one check-in where I sent to him where I was just like, dude, like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even look like I lift. This is, this sucks. And I think it's important, if you feel those things, to let yourself feel them, right? And then, because that's the only way to sort of process the emotions, is to feel them first, right? And so I have felt those plenty, and I think that at least I would like to think that I've been sort of processing them and moving into this point now where I'm like, okay, the stress is chilling out. I'm in the summer semester now, which there's still stuff going on, but it's certainly quite a bit less. And now it's a matter of, I have more time and mental bandwidth that can be applied to multiple things. Where do we apply those? And so, with training not being great the last few months, where my heart is at is like, let's, and my coach Ryan has said this to me a bunch of times too. He's like, let's like almost prep level prioritization of it, right? Not that we have to be that meticulous about everything. Not that we have to be quite that same level of locked in as you would be during a prep, because I think it's unsustainable to do that forever. But like, let's see if we can get pretty close. And like, if we get even 3 months like that, that's really, really good. You know, you get 6 months like that, you get a year like that. You'd be surprised what can happen with your physique, right? So I'm trying to lean into that, trying to believe him when he tells me that. And so that's really the goal with training, at least moving forward, is like, let's get that back to being, you know, one of the top 2 or 3 priorities on any given day. And if I can do that consistently, I think that I can build a lot of momentum over the next couple months, and, you know, carry me forward from there. It's the goal anyway. And actually, I told you before we started recording, like, I think I'm now on a streak of like 4 or 5 training sessions in a row where I was like really excited to be in the gym and having a great time. And I'm in the middle of a set and I'm just like, I feel like a bodybuilder right now. Like, that's not something I've been saying the last few months. I've just been like, ugh, I need to get this done so I can go home and, you know. So it's not been great, but it's looking up, and I'm excited for what we can do in the gym here over the summer. And we're throwing around maybe doing like a mini cut at some point here. I feel like I'm in a place where I can do that psychologically now too. But still keeping some cardio in. I have it as a pretty relatively low, it's like a low to moderate amount of it, I guess I would say, compared to what prep was. That I just want to keep it in there all the time, because my average step count now is like 7,000 or 8,000, and like, I would like to keep it at least there and not go back down to 2,000 like it was before prep. So you know, just trying to keep that in there, a little bit more energy expenditure, blah blah blah, and you just feel a little bit better when you move around.
Yeah.
Right? So, but that's like the I haven't talked about nutrition or anything, but like, that's like the training stuff, and yeah, looking up, excited for the summer.
Yeah, I think I have some questions, if you don't mind, to poke
Yeah.
around, both for curiosity for me and then, of course, the listeners. But coming out of being so in bodybuilding, right? Like, you notice this, okay, you had to be prep level stuff to then go to kind of the opposite end. A lot of people might struggle with that because it's a little bit of a dip, or a pretty big dip in the most part, right? But I think it seems like you've done a really good job of navigating that. And outside of the stuff you kind of said here, were there other things that you found helpful for that? Like, did you have more long-term goals or checkpoints for things that you're trying to reach for, or were you just kind of so busy doing other stuff that you're like, I'm just shifting the perspective of, I need to focus on these things, this is what's in front of me, and I kind of want this rest? Like, what was kind of the mindset there?
It was actually sort of neither of the closest one is that last thing you said, where like, there's just other stuff I need to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
But rather than being like, yeah, let me like welcome this less training focus and stuff right now, it was sort of like desperately trying to hold on to it and then feeling guilty when I couldn't do it. So it's like the worst of all worlds, right? Because now I'm stressed out about training not going great, and it's not going great, and then that impacts the others, So it's just not the best way to go about it. So I think in hindsight, there are some things that I think that the next time I have my schedule being as busy as it has been the last few months, I think the next time that comes around, I can do some things to better set myself up to not have that happen at least as bad. For example, making sure that like the first thing I do in the day is train, because I kept getting into situations which is not my preference, to be clear. Like my preference is get up, let me have 2-3 hours before I eat breakfast, and then another couple hours after that, and then I go to the gym. That just feels really good. But what's kept happening is I start work, I have a couple hours doing some stuff, go eat, come back, work on some other things. And then now I'm sitting there just knee deep in that feeling of I do not have enough time to get this stuff done. But I have to go to the gym now. So now neither one is getting my full attention. Whereas if I just go to the gym, get that done, come back, now I can just laser focus on whatever I need to do that day. I think that'll be much better. Because something else that I've noticed and been told by my coach, who is, dude, like I don't know what I would do without him, man. Ryan is just the best. But he just keeps like hammering home to me, like, look at all the stuff we've been through over the years. Like when training is going great, everything in life goes better, right? Like that's got to be our thing. Like that's got to be the non-negotiable, right? And I agree, and this has been a good experience to kind of reinforce that, I think. So it's good having gone through it now. I'm like, okay, I can see some stuff I can try to do better, and just not be in that position again, because that doesn't feel great. At least the nutrition weight gain side of the after contest prep this time compared to my attempted prep a few years ago, that's gone way better, way better. So overall, still a massive step up compared to the first time. But but that's cool, right? Like it's good to be able to see those points where we can make progress for next time, and just keep trying to I don't know, improve, dial it in, whatever we want to use.
Yeah, I think that's such a cool experience, right? And I think that's what really encompasses bodybuilding, is that especially if we're new to it, like that was your first actual season, like all this stuff is still so new, but really coming at it with that, that learning mindset, the newbie mindset, like of course I'm gonna mess up, or even if I don't do what technically I'm supposed to do, or what is optimal, practical, whatever it is, like sometimes it just happens. But now I look back and can see where I can make some improvements, and I'm like excited to make them in the future when they come, and I have all this stuff to look forward to, and it's just like you're only just starting, right? So I think if that's it's so important to come into it with that, because like I said, it can be hard, or I'm assuming it can be hard because again, I have not been there myself, but after prep, just to be like, shit, what's now? Like I was full on bodybuilder mode, like full on, and now anything slightly different feels vastly different, and if it's vastly different, it's going to feel omega vastly different, right? So that can be scary for some people to kind of look at and be, uncertain. But again, having your coach who knows you well, who knows the game well, who understands humans well, is so helpful, because like you said, instead of having to worry about that, hey coach, this is what I'm feeling, or hey coach, what's next, that probably, and like you wouldn't really know if you hadn't had a coach, but like that probably alleviated so much stress already. So imagine the stress you did feel, which is normal, that's happened, but that like exacerbated times 100 even. That's just like, again, shows the importance of the coach, shows the importance of just being in the moment, like you said. And it's something you've always mentioned in preps, like this is just what I'm doing, this is where I'm at, I'm just here, and I'm giving it my best, whatever that looks like. So I think you've done a phenomenal job with that, and you should be proud of that. And just even now hearing you talk about it, it's like, damn, he's grown so much. He's only growing even more. It's like, it's just cool to see, and it's exciting, and it also helps me out, because I'm like, okay, these are things I need to be mindful of, as I approach into my first season and all that. So it's cool to see, and bodybuilding so cool, isn't it? It's fun.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's funny. Like it feels like I didn't do a good job, right?
Mm.
But it's like I don't know. It's like you almost can't worry about it. It's
Because
because
so
that's
if I'm gonna be a devil's advocate in a way, what would a good job be then? If you is your first time competing, like what do you think a good job is, and how did you not actually meet that? That's my question to you. Because again, from the outside, it's like yeah, you did exactly what you kind of with the cards that you were dealt, right?
that's
So it's
true.
like
Yeah, I think that I'm just like I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too stubborn, but I'm like I should have got all the training in,
Mhm.
right? Like I look back and I'm just like, have I built any muscle the last 5 months? Maybe not, right?
Mhm.
Like legitimately, maybe not.
But did you lose any? Also, most likely not, right?
I mean,
It's
probably not.
yeah,
But I mean, there's
and
306 weeks where it's like
yeah,
not, you know.
and that's again, it's completely justified to have those feelings of like, oh, I wanted to do better. I wish it was better. That's completely okay. But I think how you approach those questions and that mindset also is super helpful because you're coming at it like, damn, I want it to be better, so let me make it better next time, rather than beating
Yeah,
yourself up over it and be like, I should have done this, and then just falling down that spiral again of just being sad and not putting in the action, right? But now, like you said, 4 or 5 sessions, you're going in hard, you got all this data to work with, you're coming out with these new perspectives. It's like, to me, those are all wins. So it's like, yeah, that's really cool.
for sure. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And like on the nutrition side of things, I'm very happy with how that's
Yeah.
gone. Like I continued tracking for I don't know, I think 2 months. I think it was sometime in January. I was tracking not every day, but like most days, and it was pretty. We talked about it on the podcast before. Like it was pretty smooth. Like it wasn't an absolute cakewalk, but it was like this isn't that bad, and certainly not as hard as I was like mentally preparing myself for, which I think is because I had done the mental preparation. Paradoxically, but so now I haven't tracked my macros really since January, but I sit here now. What am I 20? What did I say? 22, 23 ish
Yep.
weeks, and I'm up 20 pounds from stage
Mhm.
weight. Pretty good, That's not
Yeah.
bad, and um, I legitimately feel like I could start dieting tomorrow, and I'd be
Mhm.
fine. Now maybe I if I hypothetically tried to diet tomorrow, maybe I'd be wrong. Maybe I'd be like, "Whoa, no way." But that's genuinely how I feel, and I think that's great. I don't feel food focused at all. I don't feel driven to go out to eat restaurants. I don't feel driven to have junk food or like. There's nothing right there's like almost nothing at all noteworthy about my nutrition right now, which feels so good, right?
Yeah.
It's just you're just going through with a lot of habit-based stuff, getting a ton of protein, fruits, veggies, blah blah blah, fiber, everything, and weight. I haven't been tracking my macros, but I have been tracking body weight and
Mhm.
waist circumference, and those are, I think I gained the first 10 or 12 pounds, came back over the first month or two, and then the second 8 to 10 pounds have been over the last whatever that is 3 4 months. So it's like the rate, you get
Yeah.
faster at the front end, and then it kind of tapers off. And I'm like, okay, um, and I've just been doing a lot of the like mindful eating stuff that people talk about. I don't know, so I'm very happy with how that has gone, and yeah, so we'll see. And like I mentioned, we're considering doing a sort of a mini. I don't even know if it's a mini cut is the right word, but basically just start diet a little bit. I'm not trying to get shredded or something again,
Mhm.
but just get a few pounds off, feel really good about myself, get that win. You know what I mean? And there's something about getting slightly leaner that, especially if training's going well, it's like it's like doubly motivating, right? Like
Mhm.
you just get so much, you're so in it. You just, I don't know, it like flips that switch again. I think sometimes when those things coincide and they're firing on all cylinders. So, um, thinking about that here within sometime within May, probably we'll probably try to do that. My the case study that we're doing for the contest prep is over on 20 something. The 20th is the final big testing session, but I think I need to track some of my other data through the end of that week. But anyway, so we got, what is that, 3 4 weeks
Yeah.
um, left of that, and then maybe that's the point where we go ahead and hit. So I don't know, somewhere in there, but it's on the horizon anyway. I think, which is feels good,
Hmm.
and I feel excited for that. And so yeah, overall, I would still call it a good experience here in this whole post contest prep phase. Training I wish was better, but like cardio activity stuff has been great. Nutrition's been great. Um, Excitement level for what's coming next is great. So overall, still really good. But as we kind of talked about, finding those areas of improvement to try to work on for the future, and we just keep showing up, right?
Yeah,
Keep trying to do the thing.
that's awesome. I think. Is there anything you attribute to like being the main thing that allowed for such success in nutrition in the off season? Like you said, it seemed like it was just kind of knew what to do. It just did what you did, and weren't really thinking too much about it. Like, did you have a plan that you talked about beforehand? Did you already like an approach? What was it, or if anything, or a couple things that you really attribute to that success?
I think I do think some of it is that I didn't get just shredded to the bone. I think there is a special level of desperation to eat that comes when you're that lean. I got pretty lean, but it wasn't like that, right? So I think that's part of it. And then I also think a lot of it is just the mindset I tried to come into the off season, the improvement season with of just being like, hey, like there's no rush to eat these things. It's gonna be there, right? I don't have to eat pizza and Chinese food and chips and salsa and pretzels. Like I don't have to do that all in week one. I can wait a little bit, and I think that helped immensely. And when I felt a craving building up quite a bit, like I would go have some, right? Like purposefully, let me go do this before it like builds up and really starts to eat at me to the point where I feel like I need to binge eat on something, right? Like the first time I had pizza, I had I think 2 pieces, and I felt okay. I didn't feel like I had to eat an entire large by myself or something. Um, I have since done that, but I tried to kind of ease in a little
But,
bit and get to a point where you're not quite so fragile. If that makes sense. Like,
yes.
um, so it's yeah. So I think that sort of mental preparation of there's no rush, food's not going anywhere. Take our time with this. If you feel a craving building up, go ahead and let yourself have some, and it's okay. Don't feel bad about it. And I think that's a big thing too, is not feeling bad about things. Um, Giving myself permission to go off. It's weird. It's like part of the plan is purposely going off plan sometimes,
Mhm.
right? And which I think is you can only do that when you've dieted several times. You just because you just don't really know how to listen to your body and your mind the first couple times you do. I certainly didn't, at least. And I feel like now I'm starting to get to a point where I can do that pretty well, and just trying to lean on some of that. I don't know, self experience. That is a phrase.
Yeah,
But
nice. Yeah, I think having the focus be on just letting it be, I think is so helpful too. Like you said, right? You just kind of are taking it as it is, and you already put so much work in early on to have a good idea of what normal habits look like. And I think that's the biggest takeaway there. Is just like, okay, you put in so much work, not only just in that prep, but just the years of understanding yourself and food and building those good relationships, so that when it comes to something that is new and challenging, you still just stick to your own habits in the basics and understanding, like you said, protein and fruits, vegetables, and still filling up most of your food through that, and then like sitting and being mindful of different emotions and cravings, because that's where the new stuff kind of lies, right? But then it's like you're going in with more confidence than you may think, or others may think, because it's like, yeah, it's really not that much, right? So it's not that it's easy, and it's not that it's inherently hard. It's just, preparing for it, however that looks for yourself, and knowing yourself, it can be how you, I guess, succeed in that. And one more question on that front is, because you focus so much on the habit stuff, did you have any like actual maybe hard data points about, okay, we're going to get by X weight by X time frame, or was that not into the program and you found that was helpful for that? Or yeah,
we didn't do that at
yeah,
all. To be honest, we were like,
interesting. Yeah,
let's go build muscle. Like that was literally the plan
yeah.
coming off the show. Because I told Ryan too, I was like, I feel pretty good. Like I want
Mhm.
Subway after the show. Like that's what I'm. So I was like, I feel
God.
pretty good, and he's just like, screw it, dude. Let's just go build muscle.
Yeah,
And if we start
nice.
to feel out of control, we'll rein it back in. We'll do whatever we got to do, which is a risky game, to be clear, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want to. you want to be careful who you do that with, because some people are going to get. It's hard to rein it back in, right? So we both kind of trusted in me being able to not just go off the rails, but that was it. That was the plan. We were just going to kind of take it as it came, and whenever we felt like, body composition wise, it was time to cut a few pounds off and then get back to it, then that's what we do. And we're, we're there now, which is a little bit sooner than I really wanted it to be, in the sense of like, my dream coming out of the prep was that my training would just be so awesome that I didn't want to sacrifice anything. I just want to keep going. That's what I really wanted, but that's okay. We can get there. We can build that here, cultivate that here over the summer, and move from there. But yeah, I think that a plan like you mentioned, that you kind of outline certain rates of gain and stuff, like I think that's a very good idea most of the time. But we didn't do that for me.
Yeah, you also don't, it doesn't have to be that way too. Like you said, knowing your athlete, yourself, your coach, that relationship, all that, and understanding where you're at. Because like you said, you had that little analysis, and you're like, I'm good. I just want kind of maybe this, and just let me be free here. And then coaches on the side still, holding the reins. Okay, just in case if I need to pull back or go sideways or implement this, whatever it is, I'm here. And then knowing that is also helpful. So it's just like, it looks like it's super easy, again, because of all that stuff that's been worked on and the foundations laid and all that. And it's, as other people are getting into it, it can be different ways, right? Maybe there's another alternate reality where you go into another bodybuilding prep and it's vastly different. Good, bad, who knows? Like something might be so different that it's just new. But again, that's kind of what bodybuilding is all about. It's just enjoying the new stuff and approaching it in new ways, because you're coming at it with new science, new perspective, new just experience, all these things. And whether that's good or bad, no one knows. So don't kind of hold yourself to thinking certain things. Just be present. And I think this is the biggest thing, and something you've done so well of, just being present. So
yeah, that's so important, right? That's actually what you said there makes me think of like when we see somebody blow up on social media, or we see somebody who's just, it's like an overnight success, and it's always the cliche, like, oh, you didn't see them, building for so long. It's like, that's the exact, like, nutritionally, this has been pretty easy, right? Coming off of this prep, and it's like, it's as easy as paying close attention and preparing for this for literally 10.5 years. Like, that's how easy it was, right? Just all of that time. So it's really not, it's not that it's easy or that it came overnight or whatever. It's just like, been getting ready for this for a long time, right? And have been exposed to that, getting super lean and then having to come back out like once before, and that time did not go easily at all. So I think, yeah. Anyway, enough about me.
No, that's
Unless you have any other, if you have any important follow-ups, but I think it's pretty simple where I'm headed. I think is just,
so. On that note, you have the idea of where you're headed on that first step. Any long-term steps, or that's not even that, like 2-3 years competing down the line, more powerlifting focus? I know you were kind of doing some stuff there. Like, do you have a general long-term plan, or like?
True. So sort of, but not really, I guess. Like, we were playing around with some powerlifting stuff. I'm actually still benching right now, just once a week, sets of 8. It's not even hardly powerlifting. It's just, but squatting and deadlifting we were doing, and I just kept getting crazy SI pain, both. So we're like, yeah, maybe my body's just not quite ready, or my technique looks solid, right? Like, it's rusty from not doing those movements for so long, but it's not like bad. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with those. But I think my biggest goal, obviously, I do want to compete again, of course, and I don't know when that'll be, 27, 28, I don't know, something like that probably. But my main thing is I'm trying not to think too far ahead, because I know myself at this point, and I need smaller chunks. I need to master what's in front of me first, right? So right now, what's in front of me is over, honestly, like, I'm looking at this, like, next week, can all of my training sessions feel awesome? That's what I want. And then the week after that, can we do it again, right? So it sounds so cliche, but like literally 1 week at a time, because I just don't have the firsthand experience and the sort of recent track record of training consistently and hard and having that just be a given. So I need to prove to myself that like that can be a given again, right? And then from there we can start to plan, I think, longer time frame stuff. But and maybe I think Ryan might have some other stuff in mind, right? But at least for me personally, that's what I'm focused on, is like, let me just try to get that back where we want it to be, and then we'll go from there.
New program comes in. Ryan's like, Hyrox athlete, here we come. I don't even know what that is, but I know it's kind of like CrossFit, and everyone's been talking about it. So maybe that's what you got coming next.
I was going to say, what is that?
I don't know. It's the new CrossFit, something like that. That's it.
I mean, he's been telling me he's got some creative things he wants to try. So maybe
that's cool. I think that's such a valuable, lesson for people. There is, you don't really need to have super long-term goals too. Some people work very well at that, or some people, like you said yourself, it can be just not helpful or conducive to the action that you need to take. So sometimes just focusing on moving forward. That's it. Like I said, 4 sessions today. Let's go for another 4 or 5 next week, and just going from there, because it's still forward. It's still, you're not stagnant, and that's the biggest thing. You're not paralysis by analysis. You're doing something, and what that looks like, or when you take the next turn, or find out what the end destination is, you don't really need to know that right now. So it's like, I think that's super valuable there. It's like, that's okay to do. And that's sometimes what needs to be done. And understanding that and having that awareness, the self-awareness to do so and to make those decisions is, I think, important. And also a skill, which you, of course, are very good at, it seems. So that's cool. Yeah.
Should we talk about you now?
I guess.
I know you don't want to, but I want to.
Fine. Hi, my name is Colby Souza, and so I think, to give a super brief rundown if people aren't aware, but to also set the scene. Starting my first prep. That's really cool. I just finished the first 4 weeks, so still very new, just 1 month down, right? But I think, and before we got there, basically spent the better part of last year, kind of like the end half of last year, doing a pretty chunk-sized diet to get down to a good position. Took an 8-week break to kind of fuel up, and then take a look at where we're at and estimating, where we need to be, and then did a little pre-prep diet as well, another 7-week one. Took another 6-week break, and then into the prep, which is I'm in now. So I think that foundation, it went through quickly how I explained it, but we went through it in more detail in earlier episodes, but just kind of laying that out, as we've been planning for this for a while. It's been something that I've been doing for a while, and now it's here and it's feeling more real. Still doesn't feel real because it is still 4 weeks, but certain things are starting to feel and appear, and it's like, oh, okay, this is bodybuilding. This is cool. So yeah, I think it's that the initial excitement is very much there, and I'm having so much fun already. I think that's the cool thing. It's like, it's, even though it's just been 4 weeks, but just, I think a lot of that, just the fact that I'm just doing it, because it's something I've talked about for so long and wanting to do for so long, and like, I'm here doing it, and that's just really cool. And I have to kind of stop and acknowledge that every now and then, and really sit with that, because I'm like, that's such a cool feeling. Like, I'm here, right? So I think, yeah, that's been fun, and I think just kind of see, it's been an interesting 4 weeks, because when you look at, because I was kind of reviewing it myself and saying like, how'd it go? When you look at numbers, it went well, it hit exactly what it needed to. When you look at the weeks in between, it's a little wavy, right? And I think right there itself too kind of shows how things can be, because I remember, so to kind of lay it out, first week, very standard, super well. Like, yeah, I dropped some weight, things were going how they were supposed to go. So to give some numbers as well, I started prep at 82.5 kilos. That's 182.7 pounds, however much it is, right? And so from there, we had a rough end goal of trying to get to around 69 kg for the memes, and just based on my height and what we think is going to be there for leanness, still don't know, and that's okay that we don't know, but we have that rough end in mind, and we have some landmarks along the way, which I'll get to in a bit too. But started at 82.5 and ended the last 4 weeks at 80.5. So 2 kilo drop right there across the 4 weeks. And when I say like to check in the box there, my initial goal and what I've seen in the past for myself, so again, this is where having that data on yourself is so helpful. I can pretty consistently, and I would dare say easily, lose 2 kgs a month on average. Like, that's basically what I did in the last diet for 16 weeks or so. It ended up being roughly around 2 kgs per month. Week per week, though, it kind of looked a little bit different. It wasn't 500 grams, 500 grams, 500 grams, just because that's sometimes how it is. But I think that was super helpful because when I had weeks that maybe didn't go as planned or weight wasn't moving, looking at the averages, super helpful. But keeping in mind, like, just try to get to that 2 kg in the month. So having that 4 week accumulation was super helpful. And to kind of give some more specifics there, for example, first week went well. Second week, I got sick. So I was just like, well, of course. And I think I was also really proud of myself there where I didn't let that affect me, because I think a different me would have been like, man, of course this would happen. I just started my prep and I get sick and like it's just not meant to be, or something doesn't want to happen. Like, what should I do? I didn't think like that, which is very helpful. And instead, I was like, okay, this is going to happen. Like in the future, it's probably gonna happen more because I'm gonna be lean and maybe I'm just more vulnerable to that. So I need to get good at understanding how to navigate being sick in general, but also specifically here with prep. So let me see what that looks like. And in past experiences of being sick, I know that I do well when I just front end sleep with water a lot. Like if I can take the whole day off, right? I think I talked about that in one of the other episodes. So it's like, did that, went well. Looking at the numbers though, the weight stayed the same that week. Maybe it's like 100 grams, 200 grams higher on the average. But in my head, I'm like, that's what it is because I was sick. Like that, the goal there wasn't to get a new low for the week, right? It was to survive and get back into training as normal as possible. And I think I did that pretty well. Following week, as you know, things were expected, a pretty big drop. I think it was like 750-gram drop, right? Because it's like, okay, now I'm back to normal. I know what I need to do. I'm kind of have the hype and the excitement. It's like, hey, not that I was beating myself up and I need to make up time. It's just that like I need to get back to the goal. And I have these parameters I need to hit and I want to hit them. I feel good to hit them. Let's get into it. So that week went really well. And then the week 4 was weird because it was execution wise, I did everything kind of I needed to. But there were 2 or 3 days where it was traveling for Boston for a conference, and then I ate a little more food there because I just didn't have, like, when it was like 4-hour conference, 5-hour conference, and then they just gave us some food, so I just had a little bit of that stuff. So I was guesstimating whatever. I felt like it was fine. Easter was like 2 days following, so I just had family meal and stuff. So I think again didn't go crazy, ate a little bit more, but basically with my refeeds being on my weekends anyway, I thought it balanced out. But when I went to go weigh in, things stayed higher for longer than I would anticipate. So it was like kind of annoying in my head because again, that's where the mind was coming in. It's like, hey, it's only been 4 weeks, dude, and 2 of those you're gonna say you just kind of said, oh, whatever, throw them out, and that again not necessarily true, but those thoughts are starting to creep in. It's like, hey, like, is this how the beginning should be? Like, especially early on when things should be easy, is it okay to make these decisions? Is it okay to approach this? And I think again, through lots of reflection and just sitting with those thoughts, it was kind of again the idea of just take what it is, do what I can, know that just aim for the month goal, right? Don't worry about the day stuff, even the week stuff. Just tick the boxes of just hit your macros, hit your steps. Obviously it's your birthday, you turn 76 years old, you're going to eat a little bit of cookies and have some more food, so that's okay. You got to celebrate. And again, I think navigating all those instances, I did so in a good way, I think, positively, and then just kind of getting back on track. So kind of a long win there, but the first 4 weeks data wise went really well. Dropped the 2 kg. A lot of ups and downs in terms of variation, but I think again I was proud of myself for just doing it and just keeping it and not letting it like get me down, and just knowing like, dude, this is going to happen. Things aren't going to be perfect. Like especially early on. Like yes, ideally maybe you can lose a little bit more early on because there's no diet fatigue, but you couldn't because other things came up, and that's okay. And you just kept moving forward. So yeah, you got any insight, any questions there? So I can.
Yeah. What comes up to me as I listen to you talk through this, and what I understand sort of the mental back and forth of like, man, am I like, is this actually a good start or is it not? Or like, am I just, well, I was trying to recover from being sick, and it's like, well, this might happen later, so it's practice for that. Like, is that true, or am I just coping, or like, what's going on? But to me, I think it feels like you're just trusting the process, right? Like the process is that it's not going to go perfectly. It just won't, right? And I think it's very true that you're probably going to have a time where you start to feel a little bit sick again, or where you got to travel again, or there's a holiday or whatever, and you got to navigate those things. And you're going to look back here and be glad that you already had, a practice run basically, and you're just I don't know. It's just sort of part of the game, I think, and the fact that you're not getting all bent out of shape and you're not having these, extreme reactions, I think is very mature, right? Poised, as one Godfather might say. You got to approach a prep with poise. So, um, I think it's great. Does that ring true to you? That it's just you're really just trusting the like it's not even a. I don't know. None of these reactions are bad. I also in a weird way, and I don't want you to take this in the wrong way, but it's also like not particularly like exciting or whatever either, right? It's just you're trusting the process. Like this is it,
I think, yeah, that part there, I totally know what you mean. Like, it's not exciting. It's just like it's there, especially with being the first 4 weeks. And it's like, I think what I talked about in another episode before was just the idea of having no attachment to the prep and focusing solely on doing it, embracing it, being present, and learning. Like that real focus on learning, because it is my first time, not beating myself up. Like, I don't know what I'm technically doing. Like, I do, and I have a coach, and that helps all that. But technically, like, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to face uncertainty, and really coming into terms with all those things early on really set the tone for that. So when I kind of face these things, again, going back to like the pillars idea, I fall back on that. Like, yeah, this is part of it, or just keep doing what you can, keep making steps forward, all that. So it's been cool to see it play out. But I think, again, I laying down the foundation early on has been super helpful for that. And something else that's been helpful is having more of the long-term goal stuff. So when we laid out kind of the year, it was do that pre-prep phase, get to around, low 80s. And I got there. I was around like the 82. And then refuel up so that you can do a longer diet. So we took that mini break. Good. Did that. Now the next phase is try to get to around 74 kilos by the end of July. So a little bit longer of a phase. So it's like a 16-week diet to lose, like, it was 8 kilos. So again, falls right in line with 2 kilos per month. I feel like I can do that. So when I was looking at the data and looking at the reflection each week, and especially now the whole month, it's like, well, I'm still there. That timeline still feels extremely feasible, especially knowing that I'm on track and I did the 2 kilos per month while things looking like suboptimal, if you would, right? So I'm like, cool, if I can dial it in, which I can, and I know what that looks like, because again, I've done that before, just do that. It'll sort itself out, right? Just know that, like, it's there, and know that I have time. And then like that, again, having that smaller end goal has been super helpful. And the last check-in I just had, like I said, since it was the month, I took a little more time to reflect before I sent my check-in to Eric, and I was like, hey, I know myself well, and I know, and through past experiences, like, weight is just, like, scale weight specifically is just annoying for me. Like, it happens where there's like a week where it just doesn't move, and then it'll drop a little bit later. Or I know that I typically have high sodium food in general because I like flavor. So scale weight is just always kind of, not that it's lying, but it's not giving much, maybe the most accurate interpretation of what's going on. So I think me, again, knowing that so well, and then also relaying that to Eric, saying like, hey, this is where it's at, that has been helpful. But I also then preface it like, hey, this is my first time doing a prep. So if it gets to a point, and let me know if I'm there now, but if it gets to a point where I'm being too lax with that, and it's like, hey, we're not going to make this timeline, also let me know that, because I just don't know. So I think, and he was really cool. He was like, dude, no, we're fine. I appreciate you knowing that, but like, if it comes down to it, let's see how things are at the end of May. And then we can decide, do we need to maybe dig a little bit for the last month, or do we need to slightly, increase steps here, or whatever it is. So like, having an even shorter checkpoint with some contingency plan was also helpful to know. Like, cool, even if plan A doesn't go well, we have plan B, and it still gets us to where we need to. But it's like, just keep doing stuff, and we're good. We're good, basically. Right. So I think that's been really helpful, to be super clear with my coach and Eric specifically, and just to have that guidance and saying like, oh no, we're good. So that's been cool.
It's very important to have that relationship. I think, that you trust him, he trusts you, like you're on the same page with things. And I think I totally agree. I think it's important to not be super uptight here at the very beginning, because you're going to be uptight, right? It's gonna happen. But if you can kind of coast, so to speak, at the beginning, it's just it's almost like you're saving some space in your stress meter, right? So that it doesn't overflow towards the end. And yeah, if you can sort of get like the easy fat loss, I guess, with easy just meaning like without being stressed about it a lot, I think that's really helpful. That was also, and I don't know exactly how Eric does things or how your prep will go, but like for me, it kind of felt like, and I think I talked about it here too, that I kept feeling like I'm not going to be ready. I'm not going to be lean enough. I'm not going to be ready. I'm not going to be ready. And then so it was kind of like, it was a certain pace and then we punched it at the end. Right. Which is now looking back, I'm like, I actually really like that because it's sort of counterintuitive. We always think about let's lose more weight on the front end so you can slow it down as you get deeper, which I think does make a lot of sense for most people, especially if you're getting like shredded, right? You just can't go that fast at the end. For me, like we didn't get pro level shredded, and I think ideally there would have been more time at the end where we could go slow to get those last couple of pounds off. But I'm so happy that like we were going at a pace that was like sustainable. It was fine. And then towards the end, I kind of felt rough anyway. You can't really feel that much more. Like you could torpedo yourself if you really did something stupid. But like we didn't. When I say we punched it, I don't mean like it was a night and day difference in what we were doing. But we leaned in, I guess, at the end. It's sort of like you're running like a middle distance track and field thing, and you're getting close to the end. You see there's somebody else you're pretty close to. You kind of like you give it that last little oomph. That's basically what we did, and I think that helped a lot. That like I felt pretty good, and then we hit it rather than like getting pretty close and I already feel like garbage, and then you're kind of limping to the finish. So there's just so many different approaches you can take, and I think like they're all great, right? And just depends on the person and the coach and the relationship that you and your coach have together. And you're obviously in very good hands, and I think that your ability to reflect and understand your emotions and where you're at and all those things is going to be invaluable. So I think that you not only are you in good hands, but your skill set I think will lend to a very successful prep, and I'm really excited to watch it.
It's giving me strength.
Yeah, a question that I have for you, because I know you've already been kind of working on some posing stuff, right? Like, how is that feeling so far?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. Dude, that's been so fun. It's been so fun because at least I think I'm so bad at it because it's so new.
It's fun to suck at something,
Dude.
right?
Yes, it really is. I remember I sent in my first like posing. I had to like refilm so many times because I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, and he's like, just start with the symmetry poses. We'll nail those and we'll go from there. I'm like, okay, I like that, tangible. Start from that, and looking at the Godfather guide on the thing and trying to do it at the same time and just trying to feel stuff. And I got to the point where I'm like, dude, you just gotta send him something, and then he can give you the feedback. And when I said that first, he was like, "You're actually in a pretty good spot, especially for being so new." So I'm like, "Yeah." Even if he was lying, I don't think he is because he wouldn't just say that. But even if it was, I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? We're here. We're doing it." And then he gave such good feedback already on week one that everything was clicking. I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now I know how to do that." Like that alone just got me so excited to see him. Like, yeah, think about this. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Let me go put that into practice. And then as week 2 comes along, putting that into practice, and then like I feel like I'm catching on pretty quickly with this stuff because I'm interested in it and I'm excited about it. So like I want to be good at it, and I know how important the posing is. So it's like catching on relatively quickly and learning all that is good. There's still a couple of things because there's so much to remember. Like, oh yeah, flex this, do that. I'm still obviously getting used to that, but it's so fun. I literally in my email this past week, I was like, by the way, this is just so much fun, man. I'm already enjoying it. It's only week 4, and I know things are going to get really hard later on, but that's also going to be fun in its own way, right? Yes. And I'm just like, dude, I'm loving it, and that's what it's about. And it's like, that's kind of what I'm here for. So it's already just been so much fun. But yeah, the posing has been pretty cool because I think it's also cool to kind of build that confidence and like actually show the physique. Because dude, I just never look in mirrors or I don't really take pictures in itself. So it's to be doing that now and to be doing it and getting better at it and better at presenting, it's making me feel like, oh yeah, we got some muscle. There's some stuff here. That's pretty cool. And especially kind of prefacing too, like I said many times, like I haven't been 80 kilos in like 7 years. right? So this is all new to me in a way too. But I think all that too, everything being so new and having no attachments, that's why it's like so fun. Because like, dude, I don't care if I'm bad at it. Like I'm gonna get better. And I don't have anything. I'm not aiming for this. I'm just aiming to show what I got in some way, and then also keep improving with that, and like own the art and the skill of the posing. So it's been cool. It's been cool. I graduated from symmetry only to front lat spread and front double biceps. He said front double bicep was good. Front lat spread, I was like, dude, I had to refilm it like 4 times because like couldn't get lat out in one, shoulders hiked up on the other. And then his feedback was like this, because I was very vocal about this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I found a couple times. Can you use that and then see what you see and let me know how to do it? And it was just like corrected it right away. I'm like, okay, cool. I know what to do now. So like that it's so fun learning stuff. It really
Yeah,
is.
and it's I know for what have you been struggling with the most with like for me it was always
Glutes.
flaring. Really?
Always glutes everywhere. The back stuff because you can't see anything. Because I'm like, I'll be good. Lean
Yeah.
back more.
Flaring the lats is always the hardest thing for me. Like I never felt like I mastered it. Like it's that, and then like I did get the hang of this one, but it took a long time. That on every pose, like front double by, like literally every single pose, except maybe ab and thigh, I just forget about my legs at some point.
Yeah.
And you got to keep reminding yourself, like, nope, turn the legs on, right? Just over
Yeah.
and over. Those were always the two things that stuck out to me. Do you have any? It sounds like you have maybe some
It,
similar ones.
it was yeah. The lats is interesting because again because I never really flexed before or like would go in mirrors before. It I didn't know if I was doing it right, but I think the breathing part of getting your lats out, like just breathing into your chest to help it flare out, and also me just like jokingly always having the invisible lat syndrome sometimes, it kind of worked out because it's just like, oh yes, and then I think that I have decent lats too. And I only say that because when I went to the posing seminar, went to a posing seminar in person to get some hands-on stuff, the dude was like, "Yeah, you got lats." I'm just like a pro bodybuilder, right? And I'm like, damn, you could be just saying that, but I don't think you would be saying that either. And that made me be confident. Like, okay, I'm at least showing my lats, whether I have decent ones or not. Subjective, sure, but I'm showing them, and he could see that. So I'm like, okay, I am getting that. So this is like I think there's something that kind of came sort of naturally with the breathing part and all, but the back stuff has been tough because it's just I can't really see it, right? So it's hard to know what it looks like, and I can go back in the film and look at it and then critique, but in the moment, it's been a little bit hard to do so. But other than that, I think so last week when I had to refilm a couple things, it was a great time to practice the endurance because it's been like 30 minutes just trying to do a couple poses, and I was feeling it already. I'm like, damn, this like I was getting sweaty because I had like my ring light on me. I was trying to get something. Like, damn, what's going on? But then I was like, you know what? That's good because it's more practice, and that's good to experience that and know like that's coming around the corner too. Like the endurance stuff will come, but here's a little sneak peek of it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, dude, you're gonna thank yourself so much for starting this early.
yeah.
Like that
And
is the number one thing I noticed. Nobody's practicing posing. You
it
can stand out a lot.
if I'm being honest, I think I could still be doing more because right now it's mainly just doing it the weekly one. And I think I practice a little bit more on the day of just because I want to like I'll do like a rough practice round before I do it to make sure I remember the stuff because I always like write down notes of what he said in the check-in, double check those, make sure I can remember it, and then do the actual full posing round. And then maybe some after if I want. But I think I've been trying to integrate it throughout the day as well. So like at first like 5 minutes every day you wake up and do it, but that hasn't been working out. So now it's just more like, okay, I'm just doing I'm walking, or let me stand up from not being on the computer. Let me just hit a pose. So even if it's so small, it's actually just getting into it's gonna be helpful. And then I can get to more specific practice of like the 5 minutes in the morning or whatever it is, or just being okay with not doing it in the morning because I'm so used to doing that in the morning. I'm like, it needs to be that. But I think I would like to practice more because I want to respect the art and the skill and be able to show what I got. But I think it's still going well for what it is. But yeah, somewhere I can improve, I think, in a way. But that's also exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great lead into. I was gonna ask, like, what do you in the kind of short to moderate term here?
Mm.
What are you most excited for coming up? Like, is it seeing certain numbers? Is it seeing some certain visual things that you are sort of anticipating? Is it just the
Mm.
progress of quality of posing? Like, what are we excited for?
I haven't even thought that far. It's so far away. But yeah, I think a combination of all those things. I think mainly the main thing is the posing, because that's just been the most apparent, the most fun, and the most room to that it can improve. And it's tangible. I can see that. And I think being able to show what I got is going to be so important. So I think that's really cool. And to be completely transparent, I get very nervous every check-in to send in my stuff, especially the posing stuff, because I'm like, what if it's not good? So I'm still getting that, but I'm really trying to embrace that too, because I care about it, because like I want to do well, but also it's like not letting it be a negative kind of nervousness. It's just like, oh geez, like little butterflies, like, oh, I'm excited but also a little
Yeah.
nervous. So I think that's kind of there too, where it's like I do want to do well, and when I say do well, it's more of like just show up for myself and make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing in a way, right? So I think there's some pressure there, but in a good way, right? And I think that's what I'm really trying to enforce as I go throughout this prep, is like pressure in a privileged, nice way, right? Yeah. So yeah, I
100%.
think excited for the being of the posing part. The like, yeah, I'm excited to see like what I actually look like, because again, it's still very early on and I don't really know. My legs are normally pretty lean, so I'm starting to see more of that, which is also pretty cool, because I'm like, wow, lines. But my upper body is a little bit slower, but now I'm starting to see some stuff and I'm like, okay, man, I really just want to know what's there. So it's not really numbers, it's more of just like getting rid of some of the body fat and seeing what what the muscle looks like. So it's very like a very newbie answer, but like all of it, and just
Yeah,
kind
for
of,
sure.
but also like with the specifics of the posing and just seeing the muscle. Because I think again, like I talked about before, is I dove so much into the like the deep end of delayed gratification and just not worrying about what I look like. Because again, like being 90 plus kilos forever, the fact that I'm just 80, but getting below when I see 70s on the scale, so maybe that is a number there. Like that would be cool, because I don't. Last time I was doing that was again so long ago, and now it's so different. So that's a little cool thing too. But it's just trying to really embrace the gratification part of the delayed gratification, because I think sometimes I'm not good at that, of just been like
Yep.
acknowledging the stuff. So acknowledging it and doing so early on, so that as I get later and deeper into it, when I'm maybe more emotional, more prone to emotion, it doesn't become a negative thing, and I let it still be a positive thing, right? So I think that's kind of where I'm at with that stuff.
I love that. I love that. I'll be also interested to see what what comes to like define your prep process, right? I think I don't know if everybody has this. I've sort of had this. It feels like the first time it was so much about like um, I was watching Hunter x Hunter, that was getting me through a lot of the cardio, and I just kept thinking about so much. My internal monologue was like just like believe you can do this, right? And then the second time it was very much funny enough, you're wearing this Haikyuu shirt. That in Haikyuu there's so many moments that would stand out to me, um, but in particular there would be a look on the face of Hinata
Yeah.
that would come to mind, and I would always think to the top, right? Like that's always that like became my mantra as I was going through, when things felt really hard, and like part of me wanted to not stop per se, but just get through it, not get a little bit lazy here and there, for lack of a better term. Like that would come to mind, and all of a sudden it's like a renewed sense of energy, and that just became like the thing. So I'll be really interested to see. I don't think you can predict that, right? I think you'll be able to see it in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited to see not just that, but also like what big lesson do you get out of this? That's why we do this, right? I know we're
Yeah.
both on the same page with that, and so I can't wait to see the lessons you learn as you go.
Honestly, Haikyuu is because I just started watching it. It's
Yeah,
given me like, I'm not even like understating this. It's given me so much strength already to start the prep.
yeah,
Like it's so good at that, and I think that's why I'm in such a good headspace. Really is, because I usually will watch an episode when I wake up, so that just puts me already in the zone of like, we're doing it. We're overcoming walls today. We're training today. We're improving. We're facing adversity. All these things that happen in the anime, we're living that in some way, and I'm attaching that to the prep. So that's I think that's so cool. It's been fun to do it and approach it like that. And it's been super impactful already, the show itself, but that tied to the bodybuilding prep. Like I always like having shows remind me of certain periods of time. And for me, Haikyuu is gonna be my prep show. So that's really cool because like Naruto was like PhD time, Hunter x Hunter was like post high school. Like, there's all these things that have different time periods, and like anime always lines up with that. And funny enough, Haikyuu is one that I remember starting like episode 1 a long time ago because everyone kept talking about it, and like I just stopped watching it for some reason. And everyone said, "You need to watch it. You need to watch it." And I was like, I'll get to it. And like now that it now just feels like the perfect timing for it. I'm not saying I planned that like years ago, but it ended up just being what it needed to be and when it needed to happen. And it just feels so right. I don't know like what you want to call that, but I just love it. Like all that the show itself, the combination of that with the bodybuilding prep, the strength, the everything. I'm having a good time, man. It's fun.
That's it, man. I think sometimes the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, like sometimes something's just put in your path for a reason, you know. Like I also watched Haikyuu during prep, and I think I watched season 1 beforehand, but then I watched most of it through prep, and it was it really, it's such a special show for that sort of. People think about, you know, when you think about conscious prep and you think about, you know, what it's like, people always throw around like Berserk. Or like working through struggle, and I'm like
also reading that too. So like Berserk and Haikyuu combination for my like prep. As I said, I think about it before. Like I can't lose. Like
you can't lose.
I'm just gonna be winning because I have the strength.
Yes, I'm glad you have Haikyuu though, because I think
specifically
I get the Berserk thing. I get it 100%. I'm there
different.
too.
It's very different in the way.
It's darker, and it's yes, he survives, but he is incredibly depressed.
Yes,
and like and so traumatized. Where Haikyuu, it's so uplifting, right? And it's about the strength of having people around you and perseverance and like how that pays off. It's not just survival, right? And it's like that's such a great message, I think, to constantly be reinforcing in yourself as you go through this process. So I'm so glad you have come here to Karasuno and you are there along with me.
It's it's great. But yeah, like dude, other than that, things like training has been the same. It's been standard. I had changed nothing. I'm just trying to I'm honestly just trying to still improve. Like things are normal where I wasn't training. If it happens where I maintain or like match performance, I'm still very happy with that. Again, still it being so early on, like I'm not making changes or I don't foresee that happening for some time. But if it does, like I kind of know where I need to change to. So training is going really well. Like there's not really much diet fatigue. There's no, you know, things being early on. Like I just feel like in a good position. So really trying to make sure this early on be as in best of a position as I can as things get harder to, you know, face it when I can. The only thing that I noticed was today was just because I ate earlier and went to the gym later because got caught up doing work stuff. Then I got caught up talking to a lot of people at the gym, and I just started to get a little bit hungry, a little bit more fatigued, more normal than I would. But I was like, cool, same idea. I really embraced it. Like, okay, this is going to happen probably tenfold as well in the future. We need to figure out how to navigate this. So making sure, like, you know, I'm staying in the mindset, like giving myself more positive reinforcement, get some good songs on, some good music on, and just being present. Dude, fantastic session still. Whereas maybe before, if I went into the mindset like it's going to be bad because I feel a little hungry, or like, man, I should not have talked to these people. Like, no, like I wanted to talk to those people. That's still important to me too. All this stuff. So I think it's, again, really just trying to take every moment to learn and be present as I can. And there's a lot of instances it's already happening, and I'm just excited for more of that to come.
It's wonderful. I love that. It's like you're, for what it's worth, coming from me, it's like you really seem like you're starting this off right in every way. And like we talked about, you know, your coach is awesome. You got people around you who are supportive and rooting for you, and people who've been doing this for decades, who can like give you some really good perspective and things whenever you need it. And you're coming in with that growth mindset, excited to learn about the posing and excited to be not great at it and see the progress there. And you like, you know, like you're off on the right foot, very much so, I think. And it will be nothing short of a pleasure to watch you go through this. I think it'll be not only fun, but also I'll learn some things about you and about the process as a whole, right? And that'll be awesome. And I'm glad that we have this, that we can maybe regularly have some
Yeah.
updates here and kind of get into some of those things, because it's going to change as you go through the process, right?
I was just gonna say that, like, as upbeat as I am now and as hopeful, like, again, I talked about this before, where it's very possible things just won't go well, or I will fail in some regard, or I'll hit this very hard wall and it takes me a couple times to move around, whatever it is. But like, I think it's so important to still be ready for that, talk about that process. I think that's gonna be really cool if it does happen. But just knowing that it can happen, I think is important for me to acknowledge. I'm not hoping for that, right? Or I'm not like going to set myself up for that, but it's possible, right? Because it's all still very new. But I think, like I said earlier, like, I don't think I can lose in any way, even if I just show up to show day and just don't. That's one thing I've really been trying to focus too. Is like, I not only because I have Berserk and IQ, I can't lose, but the only way I actually fail this prep is if I just don't show up, if I don't try my best, and I just give up.
100%.
And I keep telling myself that, as again, it's kind of cliche, but also that means a lot more to me when I say that than just saying it. It's more like, dude, even if you just show up, you're not peeled, who cares? Like, you did it, you got the exposure, and you're gonna nail it even more so the next time around. Like, the comeback season's gonna be crazy. All these things, again, that helps with not having the attachments to it. But either way, just knowing there's just no way I can fail unless I just don't try. And that's something I repeat to myself so often. So I think we're here for it. I'm excited, and yeah, we'll be sharing the journey. It'll be cool, man. It'll be cool.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah,
On that note,
thanks.
should we end on a shirt check?
Shirt check.
Gotta
Of
show 'em
course.
off. I'm one of the annoying One Piece fans now. Sorry.
Dude, what's the? Yeah, damn. That's all right. But I like the show so much. I bought a shirt so quickly, and someone had asked me, like, I was only 5 episodes in, and someone asked me for like my top 3 anime. I threw Haikyuu up there already after only watching a couple of episodes. That's when you know. And I'm not one to do that. I'm very particular about stuff. So it's good. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you have seen it, no spoilers, please. I'll be very sad. But
And don't watch One Piece. Read the One Piece manga.
true. Here's
Anime's
the advice that we need. This is what we came here for: anime and manga advice. But yeah, Jake, thank you for sharing your story too. I know you got a lot of cool stuff coming up. You've been crushing it on this, improvement season, and it's just cool to see you grow as well. So like, we got a lot of growth, both of us coming. We've grown a lot, and we're going to be here talking about it. So we really appreciate you all being here to listen, to share your experience too. Like, we want to hear more from you though. Like, I just feel like I want to hear more people in the comments, in the Discord, like, sharing their journeys too, because sometimes it's just us talking. I know it's a podcast, but like, where the homies at? Come join us. Always
we're tired of each other already, is what we're saying. We want to talk to other people.
Never. If anything, I'm in your DMs too much. Like, bro, maybe we could do 2 episodes this week. I don't know. Like, I just miss you. Maybe, if you think. But yeah, more great stuff to come. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you. And as always, we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.